Greetings and welcome. We'll be talking in this brief video about Unit 2 of this quarter. This is entitled Listen to the Messiah. Unit 1 was Welcome the Messiah, and it dealt with events leading up to and the birth of Jesus and the coming of the wise men. This unit moves into the teachings of Jesus and thus the response that's expected from us to the teachings of Jesus. One of the unique features of the Gospel of Matthew is that he has organized his Gospel in such a way that he collects blocks of teaching by Jesus and then narratives or stories of Jesus, and they're in alternating sections. And the first great teaching block of material in Matthew 5 through 7, is the Sermon on the Mount. And the first three lessons in this unit all derive from that Sermon on the Mount. The fourth will come from another teaching block, a collection of parables from Matthew chapter 13. And then the final lesson in the quarter comes from the final teaching block that has to do with second coming or end of times teaching. That is not to say the other lessons, which are out of narratives, not out of blocks of teaching, that there's no teaching there. Matthew is characteristically known as the teaching gospel, or Matthew the teacher, or Jesus the teacher in Matthew's gospel. And for that reason, by the by, Matthew was, in fact, the most popular of the gospels in the first several centuries of Christianity, because by reading and studying the Gospel of Matthew, you were able to get a handle on what Jesus did and what Jesus taught. And even in the stories, there is teaching going on, as we will see as this unit unfolds. Matthew, as teacher, is teaching us what Jesus wanted us to know, and the section begins with the Sermon on the Mount, and the first lesson in this unit, Jesus the Kingdom Teacher. It's fascinating that the Sermon on the Mount arises out of the call of the disciples that takes place in Matthew chapter 4, and so he calls the disciples and tells them that the kingdom of God is at hand. And then he begins teaching the nature of the kingdom. And so that will be where we start in Unit 2. All the lessons that follow will come right along that theme of what does it mean to be a part of the kingdom of God, called the kingdom of heaven in Matthew's gospel. And we will have opportunity not just to listen to Jesus, but as Jewish folks well understood, listening must always lead to obedience. And so a part of Unit 2 is to call us not just to hear things, but to obey the teachings of Jesus. Thanks be to God.